Hi, how are you doing today?
Hey everybody, it's good to be with you.
We love spending time with you to chat about children's ministry because it's the best ministry.
It's the best ministry, that's right.
We are not going to say it's better than adult ministry, no.
Okay.
So, we want to welcome you today to our discussion on a presence-centered children's church or presence-centered children's ministry. But I was thinking that before we do that, maybe let's talk about our ministry, Three Seeds Ministry. Because I think there's some people that's been wondering now, what is this about? What do you do?
Three Seeds now?
Yeah. Why are we Three Seeds?
So Esme is involved in Journey of Grace in the children's ministry. I'm involved in my church, the Father's House in children's ministry. And we each have our own ministries that we do outside of our church.
That's right.
But then we have this thing that we do together. And we decided to name it just so that every time you see Three Seeds, you know what you're going to be getting.
That's right.
So you know what you can expect and like what we're going after.
That's right.
So obviously we're going after presence-based, which means we want the children to experience God and we want them to know that God is real.
Yeah, and we want to equip you how to do that, you know, so that you know, have the tools in your hand to teach them that God is real, to create opportunities in your children's ministry where the kids experience God as real, which is a big difference between a children's church that's just based on head knowledge versus a children's church that's head knowledge and heart knowledge. So both of them. So Lynette, let's just explain. So we've got our ministry is called Three Seeds Ministries. Let's talk about the three.
Page.
Oh yeah,
not a Facebook page. We've got a website. So
we've got a website.
threeseedsministry.co.za. And the way that we came up with the three things is the three things that we want to do whenever we get together, and that's equip, encourage, and train. Also, we've got the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Of course.
And then we've got the two of us and Jesus.
That's
another three. Yeah.
So it's three everywhere, you know. So that's why it's three.
And then the seeds part is, you know, a seed is something that gets planted and then multiplies, and that's what we want to see with children with children's ministries. We want to see every single ministry multiply.
Exactly.
Like, we're not in competition with each other. There are enough unsaved children for all of us. So we want to see multiplication.
And we want to see multiplication in terms of your understanding and your knowledge, that you will grow and grow and grow.
And resources in every way.
Exactly.
There's no limit because we serve God and He's such a creative God.
Exactly. And together you are so much stronger, or we are so much stronger when we do this together.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do this on your own.
You don't have to be by yourself in children's ministry, no.
No, not at all. So we really encourage you to visit our website every now and again, and we always have free resources. And currently, actually, we've got some awesome things on gender identity that's available. And there's a link to the previous live Facebook page that we did, the live event that we did. So go to our website, Three Seeds Ministries. What is it again? .co.za. I always get that one wrong. And go and see what is there that you can use.
And then when you go there, you'll see that our next workshop is coming up next Saturday, the 17th of February. So we're very excited about our next one. Because we're going to be talking about the thing that I think is very dear to our heart. And that is, how do we have a presence-centered children's ministry? Like, how do we make Jesus the center? And how do we help the children to connect with God? And we're going to be doing something very special at this workshop.
You're going to love this.
Yeah, it's really one of the things when you come to one of our workshops, we want you to walk away refreshed, having met with God and having met with others, and meeting people and being encouraged. So at this workshop, we're going to have encounter stations.
Yes. And what an encounter station is, it's activity that is set up where you engage with God. And there can be somebody that facilitates the activity, or you just do it on your own. And normally this is what we do with the kids, but we find that it's just as powerful for adults.
It's really, really powerful. Another way to describe it possibly is, I think people are quite familiar with prayer stations.
Yes,
but
that's
the difference
right.
to me, the difference between a prayer station and an encounter station is, a prayer station you would talk at God almost.
Yeah.
Whereas an encounter station, there's a big emphasis on waiting on God, to talk to you.
Yes.
And to show you things.
So it's like you become quiet on the inside, and you tune into what God is saying to you at that moment around that specific activity. And then included in that is some prayer, and
Absolutely.
there's some other things that's intertwined, and maybe a active thing that you do.
Yeah,
but
it is guided.
It is guided.
And then we also have props, so you can guess what this one is going to be about.
I like that one.
I might just wear this to work.
You might, I think on Sunday at Children's Church.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and
that
then
one,
we've got this one.
We've got that one. So we're just going to show you the object. You must come on Saturday to experience this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next week Saturday, or this coming Saturday. The
17th of February.
The 17th of February.
So Esme, I can remember way back in 2014 when we met for the first time.
Oh yes.
And you told me about encounter stations. And I said to Esme, look, sounds wonderful, but you don't understand. The children in my church are so disruptive. I was really having a hard time that year. They're so disruptive. There's not a chance that they are going to do this and sit still for long enough. And she said to me, just try it and see what happens. Wow. A lot.
That was a turning point.
Wow.
Now
It was a big turning point. Yeah. I remember I went in 2015. I was fortunate enough to go up to East London, where you were doing where you were still the children's pastor. Yeah. And I did the encounter stations for myself, and I was so skeptical initially, but it blew my mind. It really did blow my mind. So it's difficult to understand how, how putting on something like this, which is a little children's crown, but when you create the imagery around it, and when you pray the prayer around it,
exactly, and you receive the ministry around it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's absolutely life-changing. So for my very practical brain, I could not get this when it was on paper, but when I experienced it for myself,
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it's just such a powerful thing to do with children.
Exactly.
Really is.
And I think it's also because our children are so busy with things, so their minds are always occupied. So when they finally come into a space where you are expected to become quiet, then they start to reflect on their lives, and they are able to hear the voice of God in the midst of their internal storm. Because our kids there's such a lot of storm going on in here and in here, and they need a space where they are guided with certain things, but where the storm can come to peace. And I find that is what happens a lot in our encounter stations. It's a safe space where they can relax, and they trust you. So then they do the activities. They actually do the things, but peace comes.
It was incredible. We did 2 encounter stations last year in Nelspruit when we went on the mission trip.
That's right.
And we had 200 children, and we broke up into groups of 8, and each group of 8, or I think 16, they did an encounter station. They all did the same one, and it was incredible to see children who were not very active, or children who perhaps weren't paying attention, when they sat on that chair and had a red cloak put around them and a crown on their head. Just you could see immediately just the presence of God and peace come over them. They had very powerful encounters.
And do you remember the story? So this year we did it was last year, that one testimony of one of the team members that said that this little girl, the moment she put her on, it's a normal chair that you put them on, and then
just with a piece of red lappy over it.
And
you'll see when you come.
Exactly. But then once you start to crown them as a prince and a princess, and you put the robe of righteousness on them, something happens. And this girl, the moment they ask her to go and sit on the chair, she started crying. And it was, and she's young, I think, wasn't she? They thought they was probably like 4, 5, 6 year old, around that age. And apparently they said that it looked like she was gone. Like she was in the heavenly somewhere, because she didn't react. Tears were going, but it wasn't a sad crying. It was just as if she was experiencing the glory and the beauty of God. And it touched those that prayed for her so much that they were in awe of just the presence of God and what God was doing in her life. So these things are deep. I mean, God does deep work.
It's extremely powerful. It's extremely powerful. So come, because we will have stations set up so that you can be ministered to and you can be blessed by them.
That's right.
It's always better to teach something if you've experienced it yourself.
Exactly. And then, and we'll show you even how to develop your own encounter station.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
That's going to be really good, because you might have an idea, but you don't know how to put it together. Because I know that you are very creative, because people in children's ministry are normally
we have to be very
extremely creative. And I think it's always fresh things that God downloads and gives us. So we want to teach you just the basic principles of how to put it together and how do you run it? Like, how do you set it up on a Sunday so that it's not chaotic? But normally encounter stations aren't chaotic. If you lay down the rules and kids know what to do, they get so into it that it's a wonderful experience.
They really do get into it. So it's a really good thing to do. It can be quite a bit of work, but if you get people to help you,
That's right.
I found that when I ask people to come and help me, they're so excited about what we're doing.
Exactly.
They will come and help you.
Yeah. So this is one of the tools we are going to be teaching you about how to do how to cultivate a presence-centered children's church, where children are being led into the presence of God and given the opportunity to engage with God for themselves, because that is the big thing. It's going to open up some new ideas for you. And also the cool thing about these encounter stations is parents love to get involved. So if you even plan something like this, maybe twice a year, or we used to do it always every term, at the end of every term, and I don't know, we might get back to that because it's so powerful. You find that if you ask individual parents to come and help you, or people in church, they are very keen to do it because they love ministering to the kids.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, is this children's church? And then you're like, do you want to join our team?
Do you want to apply to join our team?
Do you want to apply? Or you are going to apply. So we are really looking forward to have you a Saturday, the 17th, from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And we're just really going to expand your understanding of what is a presence-centered children's church. Now, Lynette, we're not going to do this online, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately, we will record the talks, and we will record the feedback when people share about.
Yes.
We're going to ask people to get into groups and work in groups.
That's
to
right.
come up with new stations.
Yeah.
So we will record that,
and we might package some things together. So we can let you know about that when it's available and how you can get access to that.
Yeah,
afterwards.
just keep an eye on our website.
Yeah,
and we will also mention in our next live how to go about getting the information from the workshop.
That's right. Yeah. So from next month we are planning to do a live chat, Ms. Lynette and I, about different topics. So it will be about the second week of each month on a Wednesday at 12:30. So some of it will be live. If things are happening with events, we might do some pre-recorded. But make a note of that to tune in, to get on the Facebook page, because then you can also ask questions, which is really cool.
That will be good.
Yeah, because we want you to ask us questions. Are there things you don't know that or situations that's happening in your children's ministry that you need answers for? And I'm also a qualified teacher, so we're not just talking about a Sunday children's ministry. We're talking about any ministry that you're doing to children. And because we are aware that there are different contexts.
Yes.
You know, you might even have kids from your street or aftercare. Yeah. So that's exciting.
Very exciting.
So we'll see you then next month for a live discussion at 12:30, and we're really looking forward to that.
And we'll see you on the 17th of February.
Yes. See you then. Bye.